You're supposed to wait for your cue. Hey? Oh, you want to come see Mommy? Hi. Hi. As soon as I sit in this chair, now you know it. Okay? So that means tomorrow you have to be up in this chair. Okay? Can you do this? Hey. See, and as soon as if I try to move the camera, hey, right bat. Look at that beautiful day, just sunny. Horse is enjoying it. Hey, BB, is you and the horse getting some nice sun, right? You's getting some nice sun. That's good. I like how, as a writer, I'm very particular about how I write things. And yet, when I speak, it becomes, hey, BB, what's yous doing today and stuff. And yet, I sit there and edit. I should be editing what I'm saying, really. Welcome to the 31 Days of King Juggernaut. I'm Karen Stever, and today I'm going to release another puzzle piece, and it's the cow. Every day I'm releasing a puzzle piece until Halloween, which is when I'm going to release the full book cover to you. And then I'm going to have a Facebook Live thing on Halloween, so I hope you will join me for that. That's when I celebrate, you know, the release of this book without actually having to do some big red carpet thing where I have to leave my house. What do I get going on? Oh, it's just my coat. Spiders. So today's puzzle piece is the cow, and the reason it's the cow is because chapter 13, we're already at chapter 13 of 20, is called Bessie, Bovine, and the Beef Trust Girls. Isn't that snappy? So I thought I would read from this chapter, Bessie, Bovine, and the Beef Trust Girls, starting on page 229 of this fat 400-page book. It's 420, 411, I'm not sure. I could look, right, but I'm busy doing something else. 229. Okay, so in chapter 1, I talked to you guys about Margot back in the Great Stone Lions. Margot is Ian's mother. She is a burlesque dancer. She's a crappy mother. She has ego problems. She's narcissistic. And she likes to drink on top of all of that. So this is a scene where she is at the club, at Club Casaleona. The locals called it the Castle. So if you've ever been to any kind of local burlesque nightclubs, it's kind of like that. After pounding back too many drinks at the bar, Margot asked the bartender how many tickets were sold for her show, and he laughed at her and walked away. She put her nose up high and marched back to her throne. The dressing room was a hole inside a hole. There were 3 chairs set up in front of 3 mirrors lined with light bulbs. She complained about how only half of the lights were working, how dirty it was, and how she would move on from this dump. The Beef Trust Girls was only their name for the night, as one of the local butcher shops was sponsoring them in exchange for some advertising. They had their wardrobe paid for, but they were not thrilled about having to wear black and white spotted bathing suits with cow's ears. They even had large cowbells hanging around their necks. Margot wore something similar, except she had a pink umbrella as a prop. "Where is my parasolette?" she demanded of the girls without saying hello. "You don't sign my paycheck," one of them chirped. "Do we look like your gopher girls?" the others said as they began laughing at her. They continued fixing their makeup and hair in the mirrors. Margot didn't like that she was positioned in the middle chair, and she piped up. "I believe you're sitting in my station." "Oh, I'm sitting in Her Majesty's throne," the redhead smirked, winking to her friend. "Do accept my apologies, Your Royal Highness. Please allow me." And with that, she pulled the chair out to allow Margot to sit. "Why, thank you," Margot replied as she sat down. Now, if anyone was cheering her on to yank the chair out from under her, That they would be pleased to know that's exactly what they did. The redhead pulled her chair out too far and she hit the ground. They laughed and then quickly tried to hide it by helping her up. "You must get those heels looked at," said the brunette. "The floors can get quite slippery in here." Margot was fuming but held herself together and looked straight forward to apply her makeup. Back at the house, Ian was rummaging through the trunk where he found some interesting items. He came across 2 wooden boxes. One had 2 breakaway skeleton marionettes dressed as a bride and groom. He sat that box on the bed and then grabbed the second one. It was a long wooden box with a gold latch on the front of it. He opened it up to find a doll that looked a lot like Margot. Feeling a little voodoo? She was rail thin and was dressed like one of those nighttime New York celebrities he saw in the cities. There were strings attached to her hands and legs and then to a wooden handle. He had seen marionettes from some of the street performers, and he sort of knew what to do with them, but he couldn't really operate it in the conventional way. Instead, he held her tightly and stared at her. This was a really fun chapter for me to explore and then to write, because you're going to see some back and forth happen between Margot at the club and Ian back in her room, okay? So, like, some of the things he does with the marionette happen to her. Okay, you like stick a pin in it. So there's this kind of back and forth, and the thing I was exploring was children who raise themselves, right? Who there's this disconnect between the parent and the child, and I think there's a lot of disconnect between parents and their children when the situation is that the parent has not found their way back to the playground, or they have not found their purpose in life, or they haven't solidified their career, or they have regrets along the way that they're trying to patch up, or they're trying to stroke an ego that has not been stroked. And so that's the relationship between Ian and his mother. She, somewhere along the way, just didn't get what she wanted. And then, of course, it was a huge disappointment for her that Ian, when he was born, never said a word, never made a noise, and to this day at the age of 9 has had nothing to say. And so for her, and then temper tantrums on top of it, and we understand, right, why Ian has these tantrums, but she never did, and it's just a huge embarrassment to her. So I thought it would be kind of fun to do this back and forth where, you know, he plays with the marionette and it affects her at the club. So that's what happens a lot in the Beef Trust Girls chapter. So that's the cow for today. This has been a really fun experience writing the book, but it's gone on for a long time. I started writing it, you know, late 2000s, and you know, here we are in 2019. It's like a whole other decade can go by, and you know, it's finally getting released. So it's very surreal for me that I'm putting it out into the world. But it's also been kind of fun to do these daily videos with you where I go back and read some of the excerpts and talk about some of the characters, because I've never really looked at it this way. I've never really just like zoomed way out of this massive interweaved story and then looked at like just little snapshots like that along the way. So it's been kind of fun to do, and it's caused me to think about some characters a little differently for future books. So it's been fun sharing this with you, and I'm so excited to share the full book. Like, I can't tell you how excited I am to get that out to you, and I do ship them anywhere in the world. So just go to KarenStieber.com, go to my store. I don't have the book cover there, but you'll see the item to pre-order the book, and then I'll have full release on Halloween where I'll show you the cover, and I'll do a Facebook Live where I can take some of your questions and talk to you a little bit more about, you know, some of the things that I have planned for moving forward. So I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day and you have a great night, and I will chat with you tomorrow about tomorrow's puzzle piece is the cat. Many of you out there are cat owners. So I'll talk to you about the cat tomorrow, okay? Have a wonderful night. Talk to you soon. Rock on.